mom was in a bad headspace. And so do I think she could have walked away and been like, I can't do this anymore? Absolutely. But on the other hand, do I think it's possible that my dad killed her? 100%.
I hold these secrets inside my bones.
So this case is one of the oldest ones we worked on. How old were you in 1988?
12.
That was the year I got married. Lisa and I are here in Illinois to look into one of Will County's most well-known cold cases. On December the 9th, 1988, Joan Bernal, a 34-year-old wife and mother, was getting ready for a holiday road trip with her family. Just before leaving town, Joan and her husband Gil had to change plans. There are multiple versions of what happened next, but shortly after they left town, Joan disappeared, and she's been missing for 36 years.
The history of domestic violence between Gilbert and Joan was pretty evident. I don't know that there was a witness that knew her that didn't talk about seeing her with bruises and injuries.
The youngest daughter, Sarita, reached out to try and get Cold Justice to work on this case a couple of years ago. Probably heard some of our interviews on that podcast.
I have spent my 34 years always sticking up for my dad, defending him, and always being his voice. Who is my mom's voice? She was an amazing person in all of this. I feel like that's what's been lost.
She did sound conflicted in the podcast. It does sound like her gut is telling her that her father is probably involved in her mother's disappearance, but she doesn't want to believe it.
Right.
This case has actually taken many shocking turns. From one witness claiming to have actually seen Joan's murder to others insisting they've seen her alive. It's difficult to prove a murder without a body, but whatever happened to Joan, this is a case we need to solve.
Maybe we can have some good luck.
Welcome to the Will County Sheriff's Office. I'm Sheriff Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Lisa, nice to meet you, sir.
Detective Tom Hannon.
Hi, I'm Kelly.
Detective R.J. Austin.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome anytime. This is an old one.
Luckily, about 3 years ago, the sheriff let us start a cold case unit up.
Wow.
It started with myself and...
Y'all the cold case guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice building, so I'm assuming y'all got a fancy place for us to work. We'll follow you.
Joan Bernal was a mother, sister, daughter. Every member of that family is still vested in wanting to know what happened to Joan. I think it's important for the family to get closure at 36 years later. It's challenging because, number one, you have no real cause of death. You can't get any evidence from a body. It takes away a big piece of the puzzle. It makes it even harder than a normal case.
All right, Sarge, you want to start off talking about Joan?
By all accounts, everyone says Joan was super nice, friendly. She worked at the Pace bus barn as a bus driver. She met Gil, her husband, there. He was like the head maintenance guy, mechanic.
Joan and Gil Bernal were both married to other people when they met, but they left those relationships and got married in 1985. Joan had 2 children from her past marriage and Gil had 3. Joan gave birth to their only child together, Sarita, in 1986. But Joan and Gil's relationship deteriorated almost as quickly as it started.
They were talking about going through a divorce, although Gil had made mention that he would never get divorced from her because he didn't want to lose Sarita. Gil was very controlling, very temperamental. People had witnessed him batter Joan on several occasions. She stayed in shelters many nights just to get away from him.
Joan moved in and out of a domestic violence shelter several times. And I have never seen such well-documented shelter records before. They clearly show the cycle of violence, where time after time you could tell that Joan had been beaten and threatened, and he would convince her to come back home. Okay, so let's talk about when Joan went missing.
December 9th in 1988, Joan, her husband Gil's biological children, Gil Jr., Gabriel, and Carissa, and Joan's biological children, Lex and Larissa, along with the baby, Sarita. They were taking a family trip to Texas for a couple weeks over the Christmas holiday to see some of Gil's family. They're ready to leave. They go to pick up Joan's children from Joan's ex-husband Larry's house. Got a little messed up because Joan didn't tell her ex-husband that she was actually going to take the kids to Texas. He thought they were just going to stay in Joliet. Larry said, no, you can't take them. A big argument ensues. They go back to Gil's house. On the ride home, Gil and Joan argue about it. They were screaming at one another. And obviously there was 3 other kids there, and they were old enough, 11, 8 years old. They were old enough to know there was a bad argument.
From this point, the story becomes unclear. Gil's 3 children and baby Sarita were ordered to stay in the truck, while Joan and Gil went inside the house and started arguing. A little while later, Gil comes outside alone and drove his 3 kids to his ex-wife's house. Then, according to Gil, he stopped by his workplace to fix the headlights on his truck. That next morning, he said that he and Joan and baby Sarita left for Texas.
Gil says that on his way down to Texas, Joan says she doesn't want to do this anymore. She wants to be with her other kids back at home. Gil says, fine, if that's what you want to do, I'm going to drop you off at the bus station. They're in McAlester, Oklahoma. He says he gives her $1,500. He says Joan walks towards the bus station. Last time he ever sees her. Then he goes down to Texas, celebrates Christmas, gets back to Joliet. Joan's still never seen or heard from anybody else. He then files a missing person December 27th.
Gil's story sounds suspicious. Why drop Joan off down the street from a bus station? Why was it over 2 weeks before he reported her missing? Also, investigators found no bus tickets purchased, suggesting she ran away. But without a body, Joan's case went cold.
I am Sergeant Martin Schiff from the Will County Sheriff's Police. Present is Gil Burnell Jr.
Then 5 years later, Gil's son, Gil Jr., came forward with a new part of the story. Something that he saw before being taken home that night.
I looked through the window and I saw my dad jerk Joan's head, grabbed Joan by the neck, then jerked back and went forward, and that was it. Then he dragged her through the living room.
And that's the last time you ever saw Joan? Okay.
He gives a very detailed account of what he witnessed through the front window of the property.
Gil Jr. sees Gil put his hand around her throat, grab the back of her hair, and then violently rock it back to where he says the eyes go black. And then she crumples to the floor. And talking to the detective who interviewed him the first time, he was so detail-oriented, a kid couldn't make that up.
Yeah.
Then they take it to the grand jury. He gets arrested.
He does about 9 months in the county jail. Then the state drops the case. What happens is 2 witnesses actually come forward, and they say one saw Joan at a women's shelter, and another one sees her in Tennessee.
A total of 3 women claimed to have seen Joan alive after she went missing. One of those women later recanted, and the other 2 were pretty much found to be not credible by the detectives.
The one recants pretty much quickly because she says drugs have fried her mind. The other one fails a lie detector test, and then later does recant.
These claims caused some doubt with the case. The charges against Gil were dropped, and Joan's case stalled again. The question is today, did Joan really abandon her life and her kids, or can we prove she was really murdered? But first, we want to meet with Sarita. Hello, Sarita.
Hi. Oh my God, I'm going to cry just looking at you.
Don't do that because you make me cry. We're so excited to see you.
I didn't think this would ever happen. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. We talk about my mom as much as we can. Each of my kids has a picture of her in their room. And I tell them what I know and what I can, but I don't know my mom's smell. I don't know her presence, her voice. Those are all things I don't know. I don't remember very much about my mom at all.
You're just
unfortunately, right.
Yeah.
I have a few flashbacks is what I really call them, all basically happy. My grandma always says she was the sweetest person in the world. She could do the sweetest things, but my mom knew how to push people's buttons. My mom spoke her mind. If she felt a certain way, you were going to know it. And just kind of seeing how her life played out, you could accept that maybe she did run away. My mom was very broken inside. My dad, he was a very controlling man.
What did your dad tell you about the night that led up to?
So my dad's always told me he dropped her off at the bus station and never heard from her.
And that was it.
And that was it. Anytime I asked about my mom or wanted to talk about her, like, there was never anything good to say, ever. And, like, if he was ever coming down hard on me about something that I did or that I said, and, you know, I got a lot of, you're just like
your mom.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do the podcast?
I'm tired of not knowing. I wanted answers. And just a lot of, you know, guilt on myself. Like, how could I have believed this person for so long?
Because he's your father. I think that's normal. Everybody's going to understand that. Did you ever confront him about what you thought?
No. And then once the podcast came out, I'm like, all right, he's going to know that I know. And then that was it. It's been 4 years. It's the last time I have spoke to him.
It's really hard to listen to Sarita talk about what it's like to grow up without your mom your whole life and trying to figure it all out yourself. I can't imagine how hard that had to have been. Sarita wants some answers, and we need to try our hardest to try and get her some. You should know that we don't want to let you down, but we can't make any promises.
I know.
So what we're going to do is we're going to try everything. You're the one that got all this started, you know. You set the wheels in motion.
I still feel like it's not enough, though. She's my mom.
In the shelter records that I have, first of all, they were this big, and this is what I kept that I still think is important with highlighted points. It's hard to believe that Joan Bernal would have just walked away from her babies 36 years ago. But when you don't have a body, it makes a murder case that much harder to prove. This is just beautiful. These women talk about their conversations and her state of mind and their advice, and the day she decides to take him back, it's in here, and it's the whole cycle of violence. Joan's shelter records document so much about the abuse she went through, but we also want to talk to all the people in their world who knew them back then.
My dad had custody of me and my sister Larissa, so we'd only see her every other weekend and every Wednesday. And there was a lot of weekends that we'd spend in the battered women's shelter.
Lex and Larissa were Joan's children from her first marriage. They were only 11 and 6 at the time, but we're wondering what they can remember about Joan and Gil's abusive relationship.
Would you describe him as controlling over your mom?
Yes. He would take her paychecks. Yeah. My mom never had money. Anything that we wanted to do, it was always you had to ask Gilbert, or no, because Gil doesn't like that. She was always trying to please that man.
Yeah.
Even if it meant putting us on the back burner.
Yeah.
I know she loved us, and that's not what I mean. He was very, very controlling.
Did you ever see Gilbert strike your mom or get physical with her?
Oh, yeah. My sisters and I were down the hall watching TV and heard a ruckus, whatever you want to call it. So I come walking down the hall, and he'd knocked her around pretty good and had his, actually, she was laying on the ground and he had his boot heel on her head.
Oh, God. I remember one time he didn't like that she smoked cigarettes even though he smoked, so she would hide it all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember she just came home from work and she said she was going to hop in the shower, and he had said something about her hiding the cigarette smell. I remember seeing him smack her, and I think that's one of the times that we went to the shelter.
There was one time we were at a restaurant, so we started in on her, and next thing I remember, he was behind her and had a steak knife from the table to her throat.
Really?
Lex and Larissa's first-hand accounts of all the abuse they saw of their mom really helped strengthen the case. And while it's possible Joan may have wanted to run away from her abuser, every time she fled to the shelter, she took her kids with her.
Would she ever leave you guys?
Just walk away.
Or just walk away?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy that he even says that.
Lily, my name's Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you. You have beautiful blue eyes.
Thank you.
We want to talk to the women from Gil's past. They're listed in the reports as also having been abused, and it would be interesting to learn what types of incidents caused Gil to become violent towards them in the past.
I really loved Joan. She was nice, and I trusted when my kids went with her, and I knew I'd get them back.
Yeah, she was a good stepmom to him for the most part.
Lillian was Gil's wife before Joan. They have 3 kids together, including Gil Jr.
She came to my work when I worked at Barrett's. She had some sunglasses on, and we were talking, and she took her glasses off, and she had black eyes. And she wanted me to help her, and I go, I don't know how to help you. You know, I wish I could have, but I didn't know how. I mean, I guess you just had to find the strength to get away from them.
When Gil would be violent toward you, what would set him off? What angered him?
It didn't take much. You know, that's why you had, like I didn't really like to say anything because I might not like what's coming out of my mouth. So he come home one night, and I left his car outside in the driveway. I didn't pull it in his garage. I mean, he dragged me out of bed by my hair and was just hitting me. And I went to the hospital, and they kept wanting me to tell them who hit me, and I wouldn't tell them because I was scared. After that, every time he hit me, it got worse.
According to Lillian, Gil used to drag her by her hair, and that's exactly how Gil Jr. described his father attacking Joan on the night the trip fell apart. That certainly adds credibility to Gil Jr.'s story.
When I filed for divorce, he came to my mom's house and threatened me with the gun to cancel it. And I told him that I did, but I didn't. I feel very, 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 very lucky.
You are, probably. And the unfortunate reality is if you didn't get away from him, you may never have. Not of your own volition, anyway.
This is going to be an interesting interview. From what I gather, she has no contact with Gil, so...
Well, he goes through his women like hotcakes. We tracked down the woman who was with Gil right after Joan's disappearance. Was she part of the same frightening pattern?
Did you know Joan personally?
No, I never met Joan.
Okay.
When Gil came into my life, he said he was divorced.
When was that, roughly?
Right at the beginning when she disappeared.
Were you aware that he was kind of physically abusive towards her or anything like that?
No.
You weren't
Not
aware
at
of that?
that time,
Okay.
no. I mean, I had the verbal and mental abuse. There was a time when we were dating, I wanted to break it off with him. He grabbed me by the back of my hair, because at that time I had long hair.
Oh.
And he said, no woman ever leaves me.
So he grabbed your hair, like just
Yeah, I
pulled it.
believe it. He just grabbed my hair.
Okay.
This woman, just like Lillian, tells us about Gil yanking her hair. So more than just a pattern of abuse, this is a pattern of attack. It's time to talk to Gil Jr. about what he saw happen that night between his dad and Joan.
I was afraid to leave him. I could not.
You were just too scared to get away from him?
I was scared to death.
We got a hold of Gil Jr. yesterday. He picked up the phone right away and agreed to come in. He kept saying, I really want to help. He even told us, I haven't talked to my dad in years.
I'm not surprised one bit.
The most critical witness in the 1988 disappearance of Joan Bernal is her husband's son, Gil Jr. He's the one who came forward with new information about what happened the night the family vacation fell apart in 1993.
My dad was mad, very mad. He was banging his hand up against the steering wheel. All the way home, he was griping at Joan. Then we got home, and then my dad told me, my brother and sister, and my little stepsister to stay in the truck. They were in there for like maybe a half hour. I went out of the truck and I looked through the window and I saw my dad jerk Joan's head. He grabbed Joan by the neck, then he grabbed her by her hair, then he jerked back and went forward, and that was it. Then he dragged her through the living room in the hallway of his house.
And that's the last time you ever saw Joan? Okay.
It's been over 30 years. If this case is going to stand up in court, we need to hear what Gil Jr. remembers today. How are you, sir?
Good. How are
Nice
you?
to meet you. I'm Kelly. Every witness statement needs to be current and credible and as clear as possible, especially when your witness was young at the time.
My dad picked us up that night, picked up Joan and Sarah, and then we went to Manuka to pick up Lex and Larissa. We're going out of town.
And you guys are all in the back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Lex and Larissa didn't get to go. That's when it all hell hit the fan. Joan gets back in the truck. Dad and her are arguing. Okay.
What kind of arguing?
I mean, Dad was screaming. He was punching the steering wheel. We finally got back to his house.
And him and Joan exit the truck, right?
Yeah, and they went in the house. At least 45 minutes. And my little sister's crying. I fed her a bottle. She had a wet diaper. I wrapped her up in the blanket and carried her up to the door. When I was trying to open the door, it was locked. Okay? And I looked in the window, and that's when I seen what I seen. My dad dragging Joan into the back of the house. She wasn't moving. She wasn't trying to move or anything.
How was he dragging her?
Like basically by her arms.
Did you see anything else?
No, I didn't see nothing else.
Did you see any blood?
Nope. After all that, I took my sister back to the truck so he didn't know that I was out there because he would have whooped me. Eventually, my dad comes back out. When he came back out, he gets in the truck and he's like livid. I mean, you know, you could tell something's wrong with him. He almost hit the neighbor's car in the street when he backed out. And he takes me and my brother and sister home. He was basically throwing our suitcases out of the back of the truck.
Most of what Gil Jr. tells us matches what he told the investigators when he was 15, but he didn't mention the actual attack. These are the notes, the police report from the 1993 interview. And you said you saw your dad put one hand on Joan's throat and the other hand on the back of her head, grabbing her hair, and at that time he snapped her head back and then forward in an abrupt motion. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
You just remember seeing her limp as he dragged her on the floor?
Yeah, that's
okay. Gil doesn't remember the actual attack, and is that due to the passage of so much time, or some kind of trauma-induced amnesia, or some other reason?
It's really hard, man.
I know.
I was really nervous coming here.
Hey, and I appreciate it.
But to be honest with you, I want to give my sisters and brother some closure to their mother.
But everything that Gil does remember is still circumstantial evidence that Joan did not abandon her children. She was murdered.
We've learned about the abuse that Joan suffered at the hands of Gil, but without her body, it's really hard to determine how exactly she may have been murdered.
So this occurred in December. I'm going to assume the ground is probably hard.
I believe back then the temperature was like in the 50s. It was cold, but he could have dug in the backyard.
Okay.
According to the sheriff's file, Gil bragged to his late friend Ray O'Gorman that he knew how to dispose of a body by placing it into a 55-gallon drum and adding antifreeze and oil to hide the smell. Ray had admitted that he gave Gil 2 barrels before Joan's disappearance. This makes you wonder about a curious part of Gil's story.
Gil does go back to the shop the night that we believe that Joan was murdered because he had to fix the lights on his pickup truck. Why would you go at 11 o'clock at night when it's dark and drive around with your headlights malfunctioning? Why not wait until it's light when your headlights are not required and then go get them fixed in the morning?
Could Gil really have been using the shop to dispose of Joan's body?
You guys know where Gil is?
We do. We haven't talked to him yet, but we want to pick your brain.
There you go.
All right.
Robert Guess, who worked at the bus barn, may have some answers.
So one of his things he said is he went to the bus barn that night to fix his headlights. Did he ever talk to you about that?
No.
The bus barn had parts and stuff. Would it have parts to fix a Chevy pickup truck?
No.
So it wouldn't have a light bulb, headlight bulbs, any of that stuff?
Light bulbs from other trucks.
I have to
it's
ask.
It's not going to fit on anything on a bus.
Would the bus barn be vacant at midnight? Back then, were there people that worked all night, or was it generally?
No, there was nobody there. There was no 24 hours.
There was no night shift.
No.
So not only was Gil allegedly going to fix the headlights on his truck in the middle of the night, he's doing it at a place that doesn't have spare parts for that truck. It doesn't add up. Do you remember Gil telling you what happened to Joan? How she went missing?
Oh, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't tell you anything.
No. Something just popped
Mm-hmm,
in my head.
mm-hmm.
I went to the garage after he left. The place was clean as a whistle. And I said to one of the mechanics, "Boy, you guys been busy." And he said, "This was this clean when we came in here."
This is new. According to Robert, after Gil's visit to the bus barn was spotless. Did he clean up before he left? Did he spill antifreeze or oil on the ground while he was disposing of Joan's body?
Is he that ballsy to bring the body in the barrel to the bus barn, park inside there, fill the barrel full of whatever he's filling, and then reseal it inside the bus barn?
If he can reseal it at home, he can go get the liquids and then go home and pour it in and reseal it. But if he needs the tool there to reseal it,
I mean,
then
it's a theory.
While Gil's friend told detectives that he gave him 2 barrels before Joan went missing, when they searched Joan and Gil's property, they only found 1 barrel.
Our crime scene investigators rented a small track hoe to dig on the property where Gil and Joan lived. We're going to go see how it's going.
Earlier, a team was sent out with ground-penetrating radar to look for any kind of sign that Joan might have been buried there, possibly even in a 55-gallon barrel.
We got a report. The preliminary imaging was a cylinder-like object in this location, but it was only supposed to be about approximately 18 inches down. So we dug a little further. I think we're down to about 3 feet, and we did not locate anything. The reason we liked that cylinder-like object is we came here, we were only able to locate 1 barrel. So 1 barrel was missing. We don't know where it went.
It was worth a shot, but if Joan was buried in a barrel, it's not here.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Good luck.
See y'all later.
I know, and we're sorry to dredge up.
No, any stuff. This man's been out living his life for how many years?
Long time, right? So it's rough, and we know that.
We have one last witness to talk to, another one of Gil's alleged victims, but not of domestic abuse. Because in 1977, Gil was arrested for sexual assault of a child. The girl's mother had her drop the charges, and Gil was never convicted. But that victim has agreed to share her thoughts on who Gil really was.
I never met Joan.
Okay.
But to me, he's a very, very, very evil person. Because, I mean, he raped me when I was 14. It was my 8th grade graduation. And I went home with them because Lil had to go to work in the morning and I'd watch the kids. Well, he didn't go nowhere. He always told me if I ever said anything that he would put me in a 5-gallon drum of antifreeze in the desert.
He told you that?
Mm-hmm.
He told you he would put you in a 55-gallon drum?
Yeah.
So he told you this when you were a teenager?
Mm-hmm. So I just automatically assumed when she came up missing...
That's what happened.
Yeah.
This is new. According to this witness, Gil threatened to put her in a drum of antifreeze in the desert. Maybe that's why we didn't find Joan's body on their property.
He told her that if she told, he'd put her in a 55-gallon drum and bury her in the desert. He told her that.
Wow. He has this theory in his mind he's threatening a kid with.
Yes.
Well before Joan disappears. We all know desert means Mexico, or sure as hell South Texas, because there's no deserts around here.
South at least, right?
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
If he doesn't want to come to the car, are you comfortable going in the house?
Yeah, that's fine.
Might be combative right off the bat, I don't know. He hasn't been interviewed or talked to by the police since 1993.
If he wants to talk, I would suggest we just
let him ramble.
Let him go.
It's time to confront Gil Bernal about his wife Joan's disappearance 36 years ago. We know that he has a pattern of domestic abuse. They argued that night, and we have a theory on how he killed her and disposed of her body. Any inconsistencies that we can get out of him today would be circumstantial evidence that he's lying and would strengthen the case even more.
So I'm just looking to see what you remember about it, what your take was, and everything like that.
Well, listen to me. I already explained that before.
Okay.
How many times do I have to repeat myself now?
It's really difficult to kind of understand what happened the night when Larry wouldn't let you guys have the kids.
Right.
Can you kind of explain that so I can make sense of what the world happened?
We were going to go to Texas on vacation. When we went to pick up the kids, that's when Larry told Joan they couldn't have the kids. I told Joan, you know what, forget it. We just won't go to Texas. I leave the kids, I'll take my kids back home, and we'll just spend Christmas here. But when I came back after I dropped my kids over to my ex, that's when she says, why don't we just let three of us go? You and I said that. I said, okay. We left in the morning.
What time did you leave, you think? I know it's a long time.
No, we left probably, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Did you ever go back to the bus barn for any reason in between? You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I was going to get some of my tools out.
The tools for what did you need them? Did you need them for something?
Because I used to, when I go on the trip, I take tools in my car.
Okay. Like in case the car breaks down?
Yeah, something.
Okay.
Gil's initial statement was that he went to the bus barn that night to fix the headlight on his truck. Now he's spinning a different story that he went there to pick up tools, and these are the types of inconsistencies that we're looking for to strengthen the case.
So you guys are going down to Texas, everything's good. Yeah. What made Joan want to not go anymore? Like at what point was it?
We were going through Oklahoma, and we stopped at the gas station to gas up, and then she said she wanted me to drop her off at the bus station so she can go back and try to get the kids.
Why would she think that Larry would give her the kids when he didn't the night before?
I don't know. She was pissed. She was going to get the kids somehow.
And what town was that though?
That was McAllister.
Oklahoma?
Yeah. So I gave her money. She wanted $500. I gave her $1,500. And I said, there's enough money there. You guys can go to Texas.
So you did give her $1,500?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've heard that Gil was so controlling that he took Joan's paychecks, and we're supposed to believe that he would so easily part with over $1,000?
And then I went to Texas.
Okay, and you never heard nothing else? Not a phone call?
No, she made it home.
She made it home?
Yeah.
How do you know she made it home?
Because all the jewelry was gone. I left early Texas and I went back to Joliet, and the shelves, some of the drawers were empty. The car was parked this way. When I came home, the car was parked the opposite way.
So the car moved?
Yes. I haven't heard from her since.
Gil initially said that the only thing missing from the house were 2 pairs of Joan's jeans. And then in 2020, he said that Joan's clothing and jewelry were missing. And now he's saying that Joan's car was parked facing a different direction. There's a lot of inconsistencies here.
Joan had already planned on leaving me.
So she was wanting to get divorced from you or take Sarita's daughter and leave?
No, not take Sarita. Leave Sarita with me.
Leave Sarita with you.
Right, because Sarita was that close to her. She was closer to me than he was to her.
You understand why everybody kind of was pointing the finger at you. You had kind of a long history of smacking women around.
Yeah. Let me explain to you why I used to bang her head.
Sure.
When I used to get home, her kids used to say, we're hungry, you know. What is she doing? She's sitting there smoking a cigarette at the couch and drinking a beer.
Bad mom? Was she a bad mom or she just didn't feed him?
She was.
Did you ever tell Joan, like, listen, I'm done with this relationship, like I want a divorce?
Yes! You know how many times I put her in the house?
No.
6 times.
Holy cow. Because Joan did go to a battered women's shelter a few times.
I think the times you kicked her out is when she went.
Every time I kicked her out. Then she said she wanted to come back. She wanted to start all over again. She wasn't going to do it anymore. And I'll be damned, here we go again.
Gil's telling us that he kicked Joan out of the house several times, but the shelter records indicate that Joan showed up beaten and terrified of her husband, and she was afraid to go back home.
One of the reasons that you got arrested, right, is something your son said.
Yeah.
So your son said that he witnessed you and Joan fighting through the window and he witnessed you injuring her, right?
Yeah.
Why would he say that?
I could never understand how he could see through the windows because the windows had curtains you can see from outside in.
Why would he tell us that then?
I don't know.
Did you bring some sort of barrel with you down to Texas that time?
No.
You never brought a barrel with you? There was no barrel in the back of the truck or anything like that?
Because Ray said you got one for him.
From who?
From Ray.
O'Gorman?
O'Gorman.
I never got a barrel from Gorman. If I needed a drum, I got him at the shop.
And they didn't care if he took them?
No.
We have a witness that said that he gave Gil 2 55-gallon drums before Joan's disappearance, and today Gil's acting like he has no idea what we're talking about. How long were you at the bus barn?
10, 15 minutes or so.
Did you spill anything or make a mess? Because you cleaned up when you were there.
No.
When everybody left for the night, the
Yeah.
floors were not clean. You go there in the middle of the night, everyone comes in the morning, and the floors are clean, which would...
It doesn't matter. I mean, the floors are always
I'm
clean.
just asking if you clean the floors, because why,
Did
when
you
everyone
mop
leaves,
like
are
a
they dirty? And
spill or
whenever it comes
something?
back, they're clean, and you're the only one there in the middle of the night. Why would you clean the floors in the middle of the night?
What does the floor got to do with it?
I'm
You're
just
not
asking,
answering
why
me.
would you clean the floors in the middle of the night?
I didn't clean the floors.
You're saying you did not hit her that night. You did not accidentally kill her that night.
Listen to me. If I booted her out of the house 6 times before, what I would have done, I would boot her out of the house one more time.
They drove all the way to Flint to talk to Gil Sr. He actually sits kind of cocky in the garage as he's talking to him today. They go into hard questions about little details he's never been confronted about before. He answers all of them. And the more he talks, the more he digs his own hole.
All right, Mr. Bernal.
Well, nice meeting you.
All right,
guys.
nice meeting you too, sir.
That builds the case against him out of the words of his own damn mouth.
He actually changed his story, though, a little bit. Going to get tools to bring with him, which that's different. That wasn't
In case his brand new truck breaks down.
in case. The car was facing different directions. Never brought up.
That was new.
Yeah.
That was a new tidbit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to sit here and brainstorm in anticipation of your prosecutor meeting. John Bernal's body might not ever be found, but we have uncovered circumstantial evidence that she was murdered. And now we need to meet with our detectives and go over what they want to tell their state's attorney. If somebody wanted to argue that Joan is still alive out there, what are you going to say?
Well, we haven't heard from her for 30 years, 30 plus years.
And she left her kids?
Right.
You're going to convince people that she left her 3 children behind, including her 2-year-old?
Would she ever leave you guys? Or just walk away?
It's crazy that he even says that.
When Joan went to the shelter, every time she took Sarita, and now this time she's not. Cold cases are often about common sense as much as they are about evidence, and there is no credible evidence that Joan Bernal ran off and left her kids behind, and it just doesn't make sense. What's your position on Gilbert Bernal being the person who killed Joan?
He's got motive. He's got the means. He's got the capability to do it all.
Joan Bernal and Gilbert Bernal had a volatile relationship, that he had a history of beating her.
She obviously left with the kids a bunch of times to stay at the shelters.
I remember seeing him smack her, and I think that's one of the times that we went to the shelter.
On the night of December 9th into December 10th, they got into an argument. He's the last person to see her alive. He acknowledges that. He can't keep his story straight.
Did you ever go back to the bus barn for any reason in between? You did?
Because I was going to get some of my tools out.
Okay.
Which that differs from the story that he gave previously, which was to go fix his headlights.
And then you're to the big piece. What little Gilbert has to say happened that night in front of his eyes.
I looked in the window, and that's when I seen what I seen. My dad dragging Joan into the back of the house. She wasn't moving, she wasn't trying to move or anything.
And your theory on how he took care of her is what?
Once he realized that he went a little bit too far with her and he killed her this time, I believe that he loaded her up in his truck. He went to the bus barn, and then what he's told people in the past of how he would get rid of a body was to put the body in a 55-gallon drum, load it with antifreeze and or oil, put the barrel in the truck, then he left for Texas.
He always told me if I ever said anything, that he would put me in a 5-gallon drum of antifreeze in the desert.
And we know that something happened at the bus barn that night, because when Robert Guess went in the next morning, he said the place was, quote, clean as a whistle, to the point where he asked another employee, like, why is the floor so clean?
And he said, this was this clean when we came in here.
This is a good case. Gil was arrested for this one time before. With all that we've uncovered this week, it's time for this case to move forward. The sheriff's office met with the state's attorney's office and presented the case to them, and now it's time to update Joan's daughter, Sarita. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
I'm Kelly.
Hi.
Marissa, nice to meet you. Lex, nice to meet you. We've also reached out to her siblings, Lex and Larissa, and asked them to join us, too.
I appreciate you guys coming in. I'm sure it's been hard. It's been a lot of emotions that probably have come up. We've talked to Gil Sr., and throughout our investigation, we believe he is the one who killed your mother. His story that he says about leaving her in Oklahoma, it just doesn't make any sense. There's no way your mom is not contacting you guys over the last 36 years.
Hardest part of reading that case file is that it wasn't until I read it that I knew my mom loved me. I finally realized my mom loved me.
Well, everybody else knew it.
I know.
We did meet with our state's attorney today, went over the case.
And the state's attorneys, they sat back, they listened, they asked follow-up questions.
I left feeling
positive,
pretty encouraged by it.
It's hard because he's lived for 36 years.
The system failed you. Years ago, when the charges got dismissed, y'all were failed and y'all were wronged. And you've been living with this for your whole life. And these guys today trying to convince the prosecutor to move forward, it was a good meeting, guys. It was very positive. In my head, it should happen where y'all hear that he's arrested.
I just want him to pay. I want him to pay.
That man has ruined so many lives.
He got to watch me grow up. He got to experience being a grandpa to my kids. My kids, they'll never know my mom. And that's where I struggle. Because he's a monster.
Yeah, he is.
And what does it make me?
It makes you your mother's daughter.
When I hear, like Kelly said, that my mom loved me very much, it's so unbelievably comforting. I'm beyond thankful that the sheriff's office, picked it up again and put all these resources into it. I'm so glad you came.
You started this ball rolling, and now we're going to keep it rolling.
Mom is definitely beaming down on us right now.
It was wonderful meeting you. I'm glad you started all this. Joan Bernal left behind 3 children. They have lived their whole lives being told their mother ran off and left them. The pain's never going to go away, but it's time for them to get justice.